Alright, so the third part of this practical component will be drawing and labeling of tables. So this one I believe is constitute the most number of marks. Alright, so I believe it's around 5 to 6 marks like that, just by drawing and labeling of your tables. Okay, so first of all, we are required to get minimally 6 data sets. Alright, and if you look at this experiment, so this experiment investigate the period of our pendulum. How does it change with our length of string? So as I increase the length of string, my period will also change, right? Okay, so the length of string now will be called an independent variable because I can just change the length of string. So the period of the pendulum or the timing of the pendulum oscillation will now depend on the independent variable. So that's why it's called a dependent variable. So let's just say you have something like y equal to mx plus c, right? So if I change my x, I increase my x. X is what we call the independent variable. My y, which is called the dependent variable, will depend on how my x changes. So for this case, my y also increases. Right? So that's how they are related to each other. Okay. So yeah, so this is your relationship t square equal to kl, right? Where k is just a constant. Right? So normally they will ask us to find, hey, what is our k by plotting a graph, which I will talk about it later. Okay, so if you look at the first set is where I post a video on how I do my experiment, right? So actually that one I wasn't expecting you all to watch, but thanks for watching anyway. Okay, so if you look at my table, right? So first of all, my heading is very important. You look at the L. Okay, first of all, you must put the symbol of the length, which is L. To be more specific, I should put like this, right? So length, then after that you put a slash. Then what you put after the slash is the unit of the variable. For this case, it's centimeter, right? Yeah, I don't put in meter because practical I try to put according to the so-called the instrument units. Okay, next will be number of oscillation. You can also put n. Okay, n. Alright. Then after that you put t1. T1 is the first timing, right? Then after that you put a slash. Then you put the unit. It's very important. Then after that T2 is the second reading because they will check one. If you just put T1, then after that you directly find a period, I believe they will mark wrong. I mean not mark wrong, they will just maybe penalize a few marks. So this is the second reading. Then you put a unit also. Okay, next will be the bracket T, right? This one is the average. Then you put a slash, same thing, you put a unit again. Okay, then after that big T. So big T is the period. Okay, then you put a slash, unit. T square is the period square, right? Then you put a slash, you put the unit of the period square, which is second square now. Alright, okay, so next I'm going to talk about how should you put in numbers. So example for your length. So length, remember, is a raw data, so you follow your precision of your instrument. Okay, constant, let's just say you for the oscillation, you just put 20, it's okay. Okay, no need to put 20.0 or 20.00 because it's a constant. For the number of oscillation, try to get as many as possible, because if you just get number of oscillation, let's just say you get 5 only, they might also penalize. Right? Okay, next will be your timing. So timing, same thing, right? Follow the precision of your stopwatch, 2dp. Raw data, the number 2 reading, second reading is also follow the precision of your stopwatch. Okay, next will be the average. So average is also considered a raw data. Although we know something plus something divided by 2 seems like a process data, but actually it's an average data. I mean your raw data. So just remember this lah. Alright. So you follow the precision of the instrument again, which is the stopwatch. Okay, next will be period. Period different already. Period is actually your process data. Alright. So process data follow the least SF. So for this, right, because let's just say I'm using the first reading. So 18.23, I divide by 20 to get the 1 period, right? So this one, you cannot follow the constant SF. You must follow the data, the raw data SF, which is 4SF. So that's why I put 4SF here. Okay, then after that, the last but not least, T square, right? The period square. This one is also a raw or process data. So you follow the least SF. So if you look at the first reading, so what is T square? What is period square? Is t multiplied by t. It's the same t, right? So if you look at the 0.9115 is 4SF. When I use 4SF, I multiply by the 4SF. So of course, minimally, I must have 4SF. Or I can add one more, which is 5SF. But for me, I'll just put the least 4SF. So that to be more consistent. I don't want to confuse myself. Right? So that's why you see 4SF, right? The first, second, third, fourth, 4SF. So this is how you get your put in all your table values. Okay, and last but not least, if you require help during the experiment, depending or is it a minor or major help, for major help they will minus 2 marks away from you. For minor help they will minus 1 mark. Okay, so in order to get the so-called the table, every marks in your pocket, right, you know, all the SF, all these must be correct, units, symbols must be correct. Then after that, of course, try not to get any help lah. But if really cannot, then yeah lah, no choice lah. You have to get a bit of help. Yeah lah, minus 1 mark or minus 2 marks lah, right? So that's how you get your table, put in your table values.